Salute to you all. The brave never fall. I'm Coach MJD Tiger, life coach and mentor. Finding the passion and purpose in others is my passion and purpose. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Welcome to Visions. Don't worry. In the moments where we let ourselves down, set aside ego. Each moment left behind a valuable gift. When we open it, we will see wisdom, a new opportunity to right a wrong, a second chance to do the right thing. In other words, don't give up. Don't let go of hope. Don't allow yourself to succumb to negative, limited belief, self-talk in your mind, body, heart, and soul. You are more, you are better than that. We all fail, but in failure, without a doubt, is success. You just have to want to see the path to success and go for it. This may not be for you, and it is certainly not for everyone. If you have an open mind and any level of maturity, you can get past the word or words, 4-letter words, I should say. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Blank by Mark Manson is one of my favorite self-help books. And I highly recommend this because he has an amazing workbook to go with it. Anytime a self-help book has a workbook to go with it, and I'm working on mine as well with the Brave Never Fall book that will be a workbook. I love a companion piece like that. Get past the 4-letter words. It's not important. If you have a level of maturity and you have an open mind and you're anything like me, you can look past 4-letter words and you can get into the bones of what this book is about. And it's really giving you a different perspective of not really why we shouldn't care, but do we even care enough? We all should care about something, and this book definitely helps you visualize that for yourself. How are you feeling? How are you feeling mentally, in your mind? How are you feeling physically, within your body? How are you feeling emotionally, within your heart? How are you feeling spiritually, within your soul? I ask myself these questions every single morning, day, throughout the day actually, and especially at night. After the day is done and I'm ready for peaceful and powerful sleep, I ask myself how I am feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I encourage you to do the same in this moment. Take a moment of silence and ask yourself, how are you feeling? You are answering the call of passion and purpose. If you are alive and you have a will to get up each and every day and do something beyond what you did the day before, and you're willing to accept and embrace growth, you have already found your passion and purpose. That's not the question. The question is, are you answering the call of it every day and doing what needs to be done? you are. Visions, Episode 9, Work with What You Have. That is simple to think about, obviously, and a subject like this, I tend to like to talk or speak with people who are struggling with really dealing with the reality of the quote-unquote tools we have, not only within ourselves, but what we have externally. Because it's very easy to get caught in the trap of the external is what we define ourselves as. And that includes our friends and our family and our job and our churches and our religions and our political views. All that set aside, really what you're left with is a clothed version of what came the day you were born, which was you in your birthday suit, not knowing anything. But somewhere along the line, we accumulate memories, we accumulate knowledge and wisdom, hopefully positive energy and positive experiences as much as we possibly can. But the longer we live, the more negatives you will build up as well. And that balance of wanting more positives than negatives can be the ultimate challenge. We just talked about in the quote, answering the call of passion and purpose. It's very hard to do that if our life is out of balance, where we're accumulating more negatives than positives. But the important part is that whatever we're accumulating, it's our stuff. We are the common denominator. It doesn't really matter what the circumstances were, how we got there, when we will break free of it. The reality is we are the common denominator, and we have found ourselves accumulating an unbalanced life. Our health is unbalanced, meaning we have health issues that we know are going on, but we're ignoring them because let's procrastinate. We'll worry about our health tomorrow. Today is more important to be relaxed and content. We all know someone like that. If we have not or are not right in this moment doing that to ourselves. No judgments here. We're just talking. There's all kinds of unbalance in our mind. We have mental health issues. All of us have some sort of mental health. The longer you live, you're going to find all sorts of things that are going to slice into our mental fortress that we keep up for ourselves to protect ourselves. We will find a way to get to the next day, but we are being attacked. They call it death by 1,000 cuts instead of the one broad stroke. But in reality, what's happening with that is that we are just ignoring what we could do to at least lessen the impact of what that mental health issue is. And acceptance of it, just like an addiction, acceptance of the fact that we aren't mentally healthy, we're emotionally healthy. And speaking of emotions, a lot of us are emotional wrecks. We ask for emotional support, we ask for emotional empathy from other people, but we have no idea how to give it to other people. That is a broken, flawed trait. The lack of empathy can be devastating because you are essentially burning the bridges with people who may have empathy towards you. We always want to feel like people need us more than we need them. But in the wrong time, the right moments, boy, did we find out that's not the case. Far from the truth, actually. And then we talk about our souls spiritually. You don't have to be a religious person to believe in a soul. That's why we have spiritual practices. What's important is that whatever we are spiritually tied to, and I personally think about this a different way. Now, I'm a Buddhist, but one of the reasons why I like Buddhism is that we accept all religions and we incorporate the best of every religion. And I will be the first to say Christianity is something that I would hold dear to my heart right under Buddhism, because I was just raised that way. And I love the morals and the stories from the Bible. And I do believe in all sorts of different types of quote unquote gods and deities and things like that. Starting with just right here with our earth. I believe this earth is a god. But these are just my personal thoughts. But the point I'm making is that I believe in something. And the spiritual aspect is that you believe in something. It is your right to believe in whatever you want to believe in. But I truly believe in something. Even if it's something like me, where I just believe in nature is technically my God. You can believe in yourself in a way. Not that you're a deity. You're not a demigod. You just believe in yourself just as much as you would believe in something or someone or someplace else. We have to believe in ourselves, the power of ourselves. We have to have that belief, that same belief that we would give to others that we look up to. Role models. What's the difference? The difference is that we are trying to incorporate the best versions of our that we could be by gaining a little bit of access from people, places, and things that serve us in the best possible way possible through connecting to something that we can say down the line may not serve us, but in this moment it does. That's the whole thing that I think we fall into. That thing, that trick that we play in our minds, that this one person, this one place, this one thing is all there is for us. It's a trick. I was listening to Jocko Willink, and they were talking about breakups and failed marriages, and they were talking about some of the Navy SEALs that the high percentage of divorce rates with them because they're devoting their lives to their purpose, and they have to. That work-life balance just doesn't work. And while they're doing what they're doing, sometimes their significant other may not be faithful to them, or they may give up on them and say, you've done too many tours and you're not here, and they leave. And there's a trick that we play on ourselves. At least Echo Charles, that's Jocko Willink's podcast partner, Echo calls it. It's a trick that we play in our mind, that this person, this place, and this thing is so essential that we cannot be alive without this person, place, or thing. And the conversation with Jocko went sort of like this. That person is not as essential as you think. That thing is not as essential as you think. That place is not as essential as you think. And those are not negative connotations. That is not something that is negative at all. What that means is you're blinding yourself to the reality that you're in because you're not accepting what's right in front of you. Work with what you have. That was my tie-in to that. That's how I interpreted that sort of mindset of we play tricks in our minds of thinking that only one person, one place, and one thing is the only thing that can serve us in life, when we go through waves of these things over a long time period. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be with the same person your entire life, that you can't own the same car or house your entire life, that you can't live in the same city, state, or country your entire life. What it means is you're not putting such a high importance on these things to the point where they're more important than who you are to yourself. I'm going to say that again. The people, places, and things that we, in our minds, body, heart, and soul, consider so essential are not more essential to who we are to begin with. In essence, you are beginning with self-love. Is it important? Is it necessary? Is it vital to our lives? Of course. If we feel we are aligned through these things, to these things, we're tethered to people, places, and things that serve us, what we have to work with is amazing. It is essential, but only through the understanding that we are the most essential person, place, and thing to ourselves. We are the most important place we could be. We are the most important thing we could have. We are the most important person we can acquire in life because it begins and ends with us. And if we don't consider ourselves essential, what do you have to work with? The good thing about life in general is that we are able and capable, unlike all the other life forms on this planet that don't have this choice, that cannot wake up and say, hey, I'm going to change something today because I can see and understand my life. You walk up to a cat, that cat does not have the capability, the mind, body, heart, and soul as a human being has, to view its life through the lens of others, to make adjustments that makes it the best version of itself cat-wise. We have such a gift when it comes to that, yet a lot of us don't act any better than any animal. Not that we're so much better than animals. I believe we're all connected. Again, I'm a Buddhist. I believe that we're all connected, yet free. But let's just face facts here. A cat is not a human being. There are differences, but that doesn't mean we diminish the differences. And that's the same thing with people as well. We will often treat people who we believe we're better than, the people that we look at that are not so essential, quote unquote, to us in our life. We treat them less than the cat because the cat's our pet. We have an emotional connection to the cat. We raise the cat. This person, I don't know. This person is, quote unquote, dangerous. I'm using a lot of quotes here because every person's different. Somebody may view the cat better than a human being. Another person may view the human being better than the cat. Which is right, which is wrong? Neither. It's called balance. It's called integrity. It's called self-love, and it's called our own path. One person's path is not going to mirror exactly another person's. But we have to get to the point where we realize our DNA is very important. Not because we're better, but because we are. And we are who we were born as, but with the incredible ability to be able to grow into whatever we want, despite us not having any say-so once or ever over who we were when we were conceived. And that is a very powerful thought. Yes, we had no control over being here, but we have so many possibilities because we are here. Just think about that. You started your life with a victory. I talked about this in phase 1. You started your life with a victory. Out of millions of sperm, you are the one who made it. You were born. You survived a very delicate, crucial part of your life that we all take for granted. Hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, if people lived to teenage years, that was considered a long time for a baby being born. They would only hope that this person would be able to find a mate and reproduce and continue the bloodline. We take it for granted now. I don't take it for granted. My son was born 4 months early and could have left at any point within the first year of his life. So I definitely don't take it for granted. If anything, I see the power within understanding that we have strength within us that we don't even know we have. Because I saw it with my son. He has strength in him he doesn't even fully understand. He won't understand it until he has context. The older he grows, the more he'll understand just how strong he is. And when he looks at himself as a newborn baby and it starts to click when he becomes a young adult and an adult, and he starts this family of his own, he looked back at those pictures of himself. In times where he feels weak, he can channel that and say, I can't be weak. Look what I overcame without even realizing it. He worked with what he had. What we have, who we are, is good enough. It is very important for us to understand that the comparisons we have to other people, to their blueprints, to their path, the lives they lead, the lives they want to lead, the lives they've led, does not measure, equal up, or mirror anything that we do in life. Yes, we can walk alongside these people. We can match them stride for stride. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that at some point you're going to be by yourself and you're going to have to come up with your own stride. And you're going to have to be satisfied with who you have around you, what you have around you, and where you are. You may or may not have control over all of those things, but the basics are there because they are within you. Those things can be easily overcome if you know who you are. But to know who we are, we have to not bullshit ourselves about who we are. We have to fully, genuinely know who we are. We have to know what we have to work with, and we have to accept it. That if we find something, a tool, or a day, a thing, a place, a person in our lives that's out of place and doesn't feel right, we're not sorcerers. We can't just snap our fingers and make these things turn into wherever we want them to be. We have to work towards what we want, what we don't want. The passion within us is one of the ultimate tools we have to do that. But being complacent, impatient, negligent with our behavior, not ignoring signs about our health and about our mental health and about our spiritual ongoings in life, because it is ongoing. The longer we live, we will be challenged. That's the whole point of religion, is that we keep the faith despite what is going on within us or around us. That is the very definition of it. If we lose faith in ourselves, we're not going to have any faith to give outside of ourselves or to anyone. And just like in relationships, we're in relationships to give. We're in this life to give. The best gift we can give life is the true realization of who we could be. Sounds woo-woo, but it's true. That sounded insane. Sounds woo-woo, but it's true. If I ever catch you or me wearing that t-shirt, The Brave Never Fall ends right there. And so if you make them and I find you, I will change the name from The Brave Never Fall to something else if I ever find you with a t-shirt that said that. That was insane. But you get my point. The point of us being in this world is not to take ourselves seriously. As you see, I do on every podcast, I poke fun at myself. I am free, yet connected to every person, place, and thing in my life, and I am content and satisfied with who I am and where I'm going. Knowing that things will change based on things that I can and cannot control. Expect the unexpected, but don't be surprised by it. That is what I think about all the time. And when it comes to The Brave Never Fall, the motto, through enduring hardships, the tears of pain I shed today will be the tears of joy I shed tomorrow. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance through freedom and connection. All of that simply means I am willing, able, and excited to be able to work with what I have to accomplish things I never thought I could. To damn near accomplish the impossible. The things that people just took a giant X over my name and said, hey, you're not going to be able to do that. But I did it anyway. Same, just like I was saying about my son. A lot of limitations the doctors in the medical field told me and his mother he would have. And he's overcome them all. Does he struggle occasionally with certain things? Of course he does. But we all do. So that would make him pretty, back to the quotes, quote unquote, normal. That would make him a person who has challenges to overcome just like everyone else. The only difference is there's excuses there that he could make and run with them, and everybody would pat him on the back and say, you're right, you have a right to that excuse. But he doesn't. We all can make an excuse. We all can look at what we have in life and say, we're here because of A, B, and C for this person, that thing, that place, caused this ripple effect and this butterfly effect to the point where now I'm standing here and I'm here because of all these things. The one thing you didn't name was that you're here because it's you. You are the common denominator in your life, so of course you're going to be there with all these things. That's not the question. The question is, how are you responding? How are you holding up? Are you practicing what you're preaching? If you say you want good health, are you really going through the true trek of being in the best health you possibly can, despite what age you are and despite what's going on in your life? Are you eating right? Are you drinking enough water? If you have some type of medical issue, are you doing all that it takes to actually address that issue so you become an easier person to be around? Because there's no way, if there's a medical issue going on with you and you're not doing anything about it, you're going to be great every day. So you wake up and say, well, this is going to be a great day. Did you do everything to facilitate that? Or did you forget or procrastinate a few things over here? It's one thing to say you're going to have a great day. You actually have to create it. I use the word create. I didn't say somebody's going to hand it to you. When we wake up every day and expect greatness to be handed to us, what does that say about what we believe we have? That's entitlement. That's selfishness. And that's not giving. That's taking. Working with what you have and giving what little you have left of yourself, or as much as you have left of yourself each day, regardless of the circumstances, you're still giving. You're giving because you're creating. You're experimenting. You're doing things that a lot of people out there don't have the courage to do. And that's face facts. Through satisfaction, through understanding that there's a valley, a mountain, a volcano that you're going to go over again and again and again, but yet you're still satisfied with the fact that even the thought of being able to have a journey to go on is a blessing. There are those who say they want financial security but aren't willing to work 50, 60 hours a week to actually get it. There are people out there who say they want material things, more of them, better house, better city to live in, better family, better picket fence, but sabotage themselves every single day by not being who they want to be and expect to have in their life from other people, places, and things. No excuses. We talked about Jocko Willink earlier. Talk about book recommendations. If you missed my book recommendation earlier in this series, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It's very simple. If you want to be in good health, do 100%, not 98, not 97, 100% of what you claim you want needs to be put in action. Or you forfeit your right to complain about what you don't have as far as health goes. And that applies to the rest of it. We want to be better in our mental health. What steps are you taking to actually do that? You want to be better financially. Are you working a job that doesn't suit you and sends you home with stress every day, but hey, it pays a lot of money? If you're lost spiritually, where are you going to gain clarity about what options you have to find the solution you need for that? I know for me, when I found Buddhism, it wasn't from a lack of searching. I wanted to find what I was aligned with spiritually. I felt it was extremely important. Again, raised as a Christian, religion in some form for me was not going to work. It's in my blood, it's in my DNA. I knew spiritually I needed to be tied to something. And these are things, again, decisions, conscious decisions that we make in these days where There's so much doubt, so much confusion and fear and anxiety and stress and mental health. All these things I understand. The people around you understand. We all get it. If someone has empathy, and there are a lot of people out there who have empathy, they understand exactly what you're going through. I understand what you're going through. And I would imagine you would understand what I'm going through. I believe if you're listening to this, you would be open-minded enough to understand my life story, and I would be for you. And if you feel that is not the case, to be honest, The Brave Never Fall isn't for you. The Brave Never Fall is for people with empathy. It's for people who are willing to do more without excuses when they don't want to do something, but they go and they do it anyway, and they do it 100%, not because they want to, but because it's so right, they can't even envision themselves not doing it. That's discipline. That's ownership and accountability. Luckily, I've been able to recently surround myself with more people who are like this. It is so inspiring that it's unexplainable. They work with what they have without excuses. They get the job done. They focus on their health. If something isn't serving them, they jettison it. For a while there, I thought I was alone in the world when it came to being able to jettison things that don't serve you, people, places, and things, and really replacing those things that you jettisoned with things that serve you in ways you never could imagine. And the bonds and connection you have with people who are like-minded like that, who don't make excuses. It only takes one thing in your life to mess up the rest in ways that are just unimaginable. You can have everything solid. Mental health is on point. Spiritually, you're on point. Physically, you're thinking about pushing that up and getting that better and going beyond, above and beyond the call of duty with that, but you're not worried about your health enough. So the rest of the areas will never be what they could be, because in that one area you just, and we all have done this, we just don't focus enough on it, and it's just not important enough because there's some level of comfort and or fear attached to it. So we procrastinate on that area because we'll get to it when all the other ones, the ones that are easier and easier for people to identify, that's what we're working on. But really deep down inside, we know something's missing, and then something is avoiding us. And it's really that fear that we have of really addressing things that we don't have. We're more attracted to people, places, and things that we don't have. We're more attracted to that vacation that we think we'll never go to. We're more attracted to the cars that we know we'll probably never afford. We're more attracted to the people that we know we can never get. Because if we ever got all those things, what would happen? You'd get content and you'd be looking for the next best thing in a lot of cases. But that would only happen if you're not satisfied with yourself. If you're satisfied with yourself, you could find all those things and put it in the context, be grateful, and say, you know, I appreciate that. I have this person, place, a thing, and now I'm moving on to the next one in a healthy way. Not the people. So what I mean by people is that moving on to add on another good relationship in your life. When I use the word relationship, that doesn't mean marriage. That could be a relationship with a coworker, a churchgoer, a friend, family member, even your damn cat. The point is adding in joy, fulfillment. If there's something alien in your life and you're not addressing it, you could talk about all the peace and joy you want in the world, and all you're going to have is misery because you're not putting the other leg of the stool down. So you're constantly trying to balance on three legs. Talk is cheap. Patience, understanding. Surrounding yourself with people who get it, who have true empathy, who can communicate, who can call you out on your BS, and they expect you to call them out on theirs. To have things around you that really serve you. Not living beyond your means. Being able to be secure in every area in your life. These are not things that are hard to do when you work with what you have and you build upon it. When you're not trying to jump light years ahead in the future to get this person, place, or thing. When you're okay and you're satisfied with who you are, what you have. You don't take people for granted. You don't throw people away who mean something to you. You don't throw your health away when it means something to you. You don't throw your money away. You don't throw your spirituality away. What you do is you build upon that. You work with what you have. You work with what you have, and you build every single day. Extreme ownership, just like Jocko said. We have to be satisfied with what we have in the moment. It's not the end. There is no end. There's always time. The clock's ticking, but all our clocks are ticking. Yes, we have time, but we don't have all the time. So there needs to be a little bit of fire behind you. Procrastination doesn't serve our mental health, our physical health, emotional health, or spiritual health. The time is now. What do you have to work with? Imagine yourself doing more, and usually that more becomes a reality. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. We rise and maintain balance.